So we're in week 4 of isolation. Let's talk routine. 6:30ish wake up, morning steps of CT.
Hey, does anybody want coffee?
Instagram and TikTok content. A morning workout. Leads me nicely to this guy talking about staying motivated. Enjoy the video.
Yes guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, videos coming every single Sunday at 7 PM UK time, that is. I'm going to try and do some kind of video, whether it's a training video, a motivation one, tips and tricks, a vlog, anything like that, every single week on a Sunday. So again, if you haven't already, subscribe, like if you like this video, and comment below any videos you want to see in the future. So I've wanted to do this video for a while, and that's how to stay motivated during this period of self-isolation. So we're in week 4, and I think as of yesterday or the day before, it's come out that we're going to have another 3 weeks of isolation. And let's be honest, this isn't just going to affect the short term, it's going to affect the long term also, throughout the rest of the year. There will be uncertainties financially. Some people may be worse off. It is going to affect a lot of people. So I guess the kind of positivity, the motivation isn't potentially there. So I kind of want to give my 2 pence on things that I do for myself personally. A lot of my clients that I kind of preach in terms of like mindset, and just kind of talk about how to get through this period of isolation and how to stay as motivated as possible. The first thing I want to talk about is routine. If you're at home and you're working at home, or you might not be, your routine's still going to be completely off to what it's used to be. You might have travelled to and from work. You might have certain calls at this time. You might be, taking the kids to school and things like that. That's completely off. So you've lost that routine, you've lost that day-to-day, whether it's Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday, you've lost that kind of day-to-day aspect of your life. So the best thing that I would do is, as silly as this sounds, but set yourself a time that you're going to wake up. Set yourself a time that you're potentially going to go to bed. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, when you have snacks and other bits and bobs. Set those times. You need to find some kind of routine. In the mornings, get up in the morning, go for some steps. Just find some sort of structure, find some sort of routine to apply. This nicely leads me on to point number 2, and that's replicating a working day. So as I spoke about a second ago in regards to routine, this is exactly the same thing. Your working day, you know exactly what you're doing on Monday, you know exactly what you're going to do on Tuesday in regards to your hours and your time and your structure and your schedule. The best thing that I would do is replicate that, but then potentially just fill those times with something else. If you're working from home, then obviously you're going to have to just kind of customize that to your specific day, which isn't too bad. If you're not working at all, or you're doing a little bit less work, you're just going to have to replicate those working times with something else. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be anything work related. That could be a hobby, that could be a passion of yours, something you've always wanted to learn. Okay, between 9 and 12, when I would be working before lunch, I'm going to learn how to edit. I'm going to learn like a new skill. If you are potentially working from home, then replicate that and use that time to work on your business. If you're self-employed and your work hours may be reduced, use that time to work on your website, work on your social media. So there's always something that you can do, and just replicate your working day as much as possible. Don't get me wrong, everyone's working day has probably changed, unless you probably were already working from home. But your working day's changed, so use that time to be as efficient as possible. Use this time to learn a skill. Throughout the week, you probably have more time to do more things that you potentially would want to do. So use this time as efficiently as possible. As I said earlier, between like 9 and 12, learn yourself a new skill, learn how to edit. Learn something that you've potentially always wanted to do, but you haven't done, that you haven't had the time to do before, or potentially learn something that you've always wanted to do that's going to help your business, that you potentially haven't had time to do. Myself personally, in regards to my website, I've been editing that and doing things that I've wanted to do for a few months, but just haven't had that period of time where I'm able to do so. So that's what I'm doing in my spare time, and obviously creating content for social media. in the evenings, if you're finishing work at 5 and it normally takes you till 7 to get home, you've got that 2-hour period. You could watch TV show. Obviously, you can watch TV and bits and bobs. But if you want to learn like a new passion or a new skill, use that time. You're going to get your head down, and you're going to go and do so. So use this time really, really well. This hopefully will never happen again, or something like this. So this may never come around. This period of time that you have off work or more times around your working week may not happen. So just use it as wisely as you can. Implement as many positive habits as possible. So this is something that I work a lot in regards to like my business and my clients that I always talk about. And I've kind of touched on a few points there about like kind of sleep quality, finding routine, finding a structure. For other things like healthy eating habits, it's very easy in this period of time to start, just going to the co-op and getting yourself a pack of scones or something ridiculous and just having that on lunch just because you can do. So use this time again wisely to start really implementing as many positive habits as possible. Start trying new foods. You can start prepping foods a little bit better than potentially you didn't have the time before. So you can use this time to really get your nutritional habits on point. So when you go back to your normal working day or your normal working hours, that for example, that you can do this, you can do that, you can prep that food. I'm a big fan of getting steps in the morning and just keeping active throughout the day with whatever kind of exercise it may well be. If you haven't already, start doing that right now. We talked about routine, we talked about structure. When are you exercising, when are you getting your steps in, or are you just kind of being at home throughout the whole day? Because if you can implement these positive habits now, when we go back to our normal kind of work and life, you can just take this and implement that into what you do already and all the already positive habits which hopefully you have created and merge them together. So in regards to that, that's such a motivational tool because for example, you can kind of conquer any kind of habits that you potentially didn't think you could adhere to, and obviously combine the ones you've already done. So going forwards, you're going to be in a fantastic position. Keep talking to other people. You may be watching this and you may be living at home, you may be living with a partner, you may be living with your family. Everyone's situation is completely different. However, if you don't keep talking to other people, this period of self-isolation is going to become very isolated. And, you're going to come so within yourself. We talk about self-belief, we talk about confidence. That's a massive part into our day-to-day life, to be confident, to have self-belief, to really think that you can kind of achieve anything that's possible. That all comes from talking to other people. That all comes from positive actions throughout the day. So just make sure that, whether it's at home, whether it's on social media, whether it's phoning someone up, whether it's phoning your family, anything like that, just keep talking to other people. I talk about surround yourself with like-minded people. In this case, yes, that does apply, but just surround yourself by people. Surround yourself by positivity and helping others and all of that to ensure that from not necessarily a mental state, but like just overall well-being, you're in a good place. So guys, if you're watching this, just keep talking to other people. Keep asking about how their day is. Obviously, we want to talk about coronavirus and COVID-19 and what's happening, but sometimes just swear about that and just have normal conversations. Obviously, what you're doing during the day is probably the same most days, but just talk about other things you read. If you haven't already, get yourself TikTok. It's fantastic humour on there, and you can just kind of talk other things as well. The final point that I want to make is, yes, in the short term, it's not ideal. However, what it is ideal for is planning for the long term. I'm just going to use myself for example. I'm a one-to-one personal trainer, online coach. I'm using this time as efficiently as possible to plan the next this year and next year and where exactly I want to go with my business. So I spoke about earlier that I've been working on my website, I've been changing some ways that I structure work with my clients. So when we come out of this stage, I know exactly what I want to do going forward, how I'm going to use social media, how I'm going to design my website, how I'm going to do other bits and bobs to ensure that I can keep moving forwards. If you listen to this, you might be a personal trainer, you might be someone that just doesn't work in the industry but has a passion for fitness. You've just got to ensure that you have some sort of long-term goal. You know exactly what you're going to do going forward. So again, it's so cliche, but use this time as efficiently as possible. Short term, it's a bit naff, don't get me wrong. However, just use this short-term period where you can really focus and think about the long term for yourself. What are the long-term goals you've got in place? It doesn't have to be work related, it can be fitness related. It doesn't have to be fitness related, it could be something completely different. Just plan ahead of schedule. So they are my 6 tips on how to stay motivated and positive during this period of self-isolation. So I hope that's helped to some degree. If you haven't already, check out the video beforehand. I kind of talk a little bit about this already, probably more on a fitness point of view, where I talk about like setting up the structure of your training split and your workouts and everything like that. So go ahead and check that out. Comment below if these tips have been useful. Also comment if you have already started implementing these to your day, and hopefully it's going to be of some help. Yeah, let's continue with the day. Okay, so gonna go into my midday session today, which funny enough is legs, like basically the same session that I did last week. If you haven't checked out last week's video, go ahead and do so. It's gonna be structured slightly different in terms to kind of mixing it up. A few new exercises that I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna film some of the workout, put it in there. I'm gonna put the whole workout on the screen now. I'm gonna go and smash this out. It's the first time I'm drinking pre-workout in like 4 or 5 weeks, going for the MV pre. So hopefully, I'm being a little bit lethargic today. So hopefully that's gonna be a nice boost. Yeah, and let's get the session done. So that is my leg session done. Calves were worked as well at the ends. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment below any videos you want to see in the future. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.